Dead bug is a great running specific core exercise, and really it comes down to the fact that you're using an opposite arm and an opposite leg and you're resisting extension. So when we run, that's the exact same thing that's happening when we're running. And so when you run, you push off with one leg and that leg is swinging back behind you. At the same time, your arm is doing the opposite. And so what ends up happening is you essentially have this force from this leg all the way up to this shoulder of extension that you need to resist. Because when you get to the end of that running stride, you need to move your leg out behind you, you need to reverse that and then power it forward using your hip flexors to have a nice, strong running stride. So dead bug works on exactly that. Your leg is lowering, your arm is lowering, and you have this extension across your body diagonally that you need to resist and take back in the opposite direction. So in that sense, the dead bug is a very running specific exercise and really works on that stability and is gonna help you be a more efficient runner. Let's take a look at how to do it. Setup for a dead bug is really simple. All you need is a mat on the floor and enough space that you can extend your leg all the way down and your arm all the way down, and you're not gonna be bumping into anything. To do the dead bug, we're gonna lie ourselves down on the mat, and there's one really critical piece to keep in mind. We wanna keep our low back in contact with the ground throughout the whole exercise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set myself up on my mat here, and you wanna make sure you've got enough space below you that your leg can extend all the way out without hitting anything. You wanna make sure you've got enough space above you that your arm can come all the way back without hitting anything. From this position here, I'm gonna get myself all set, and I wanna have my butt, my low back, my shoulders, and my head all in contact with the ground. It's really important that I keep this contact. If I start to not be able to control with my core, I'll start to feel my low back lifting off the ground. I can even slide a hand under there if I wanted to. So that's not what I want to do, because that means my core has turned off because it isn't able to handle the force. And instead, what you're controlling the motion with is all of the vertebrae in your back butting up against each other, which isn't the greatest thing to go for. So low back is gonna go flat into the ground, and then arms are gonna go straight up and legs are gonna go straight up. As runners, we tend to have pretty tight hamstrings, so it might be a little tough for you to get your legs all the way straight, but the straighter you can have them, the easier it's gonna be when you're in this rest position. If the more your legs are this way, the more your core has to fight to be able to keep everything in place. So legs straight, arms straight, and then from this position, I'm gonna lower my opposite arm and opposite leg. So from here, I'm gonna go right arm and left leg, down to the ground, back to the middle, and then I'm gonna switch, and I'm gonna go left leg, right leg, left arm, down to the ground, and back to the middle. And that's what you do, you alternate sides as you go through this exercise. You wanna make sure however low you go is kind of dictated by how strong your low back is. So if you're able to go to this point and you start to feel that back lift, then that's as far as you wanna go with this exercise. So you can go to that point there. And then if you're more attuned to this, if you're a little bit stronger, you'll be able to go a little bit farther on each side. And so you just wanna make sure that the extent of how far you lower your legs and your arms, you're still able to maintain the integrity of your low back in this position. To increase the difficulty of your dead bug, you can either go deeper and deeper until you're able to get your arm and your leg almost touching the ground. Once you get to that point, if you wanna go a little bit more, make things a little bit more challenging and you're still able to maintain that low back, then you can add a weight into your hand, or you can even add an ankle weight and strap it around your ankle, and that's gonna increase the difficulty of that exercise. When you're doing your dead bug, if you find that the straight leg is a little bit too difficult, or if that puts too much pressure on your low back, you can modify it by bending your leg, which is just gonna make it a little bit easier, and it's gonna reduce the leverage that's pulling on that low back. So instead of being in this position here, having your arms straight and your legs straight, you're gonna bend your legs this way, and then you're gonna come down with a bent leg and a straight arm, and then alternate bent leg and straight arm. Then over time, you can gradually work on straightening those legs out more until eventually you can get all the way out to that straight leg. The more your leg is bent, the easier it's gonna be and the less force it's gonna put on your low back. As an alternative to the dead bug, you can do just the legs, you can do just the arms, Or you could even do something like a knee wrap, where you're balanced on your butt here, you're extending out and coming back to the middle. You just need something that's going to be a dynamic extension of your core that you're working on controlling and working on that stability.